this 3-pound mass that sits inside our head. And what is it that science has learned in the last 25 to 30 years about this piece? And we are still trying to learn about that. That's why it's called one of the greatest enigmas of life. We all use it, but yet we don't know much about it. So how can we better utilize with whatever the knowledge that we have learned in the last 3 decades is what I will be reviewing in the next 2.5 hours. Okay? And if you feel I am going too fast or if you did not understand something, don't hesitate to raise your hand and then stop me quickly. I am not one of those who if stopped in between simply stops there. I can continue, so you can feel free to stop me quickly. That's the essence of today's talk. That is what we will be exploring. Human body is biologically endowed with all the necessary infrastructure to help us grow both mentally and spiritually. And how, by understanding our brain and utilizing whatever powers that lie within, we can grow is what we will be exploring today. So, what do I have in store for you today? 2 unique properties of human brain. One is neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. That is, ability of the brain to change. Plastic means that it changes, that which can change. Neuroplasticity means ability, property of the brain to change itself. We will be exploring that. That is in response to our thoughts and actions. And the second aspect is neurogenesis. That is, so far it was thought, until 30 years ago it was thought, once you are born with certain amount of intelligence, certain amount of brain capacity, that's it. Brain does not generate new neurons. That is what people thought. But now we know, every single day, until we die, brain is generating new neurons at an astonishing pace. We will learn what that is and how we can put that to good use. And that is what we call as neurogenesis. And how can we harness the potential of human brain on the personal front, professional front, and on the spiritual front? I'm sure that is one of the reasons why you sacrificed your Sunday afternoon to be here. Yeah? And I promise that you won't be disappointed. And yes, brain also needs to be taken care of like the rest of our body. How you take care of your brain for its optimal function is what we will explore. Okay? Good. So first let me introduce you your brain to yourself. So if you see, it's divided into different lobes. This part of the brain is what we call as frontal lobe. That is this part. And this part of the brain is what we call as the temporal lobe. Each lobe has certain set of functions which we will explore as we move forward. And this part is what we call as occipital lobe, behind. And this part is what we call as parietal lobe. And a few important structures inside the brain, some of which we will be referring to as we move forward, is this part of the brain is called cerebellum. This part. You see that? And that's the one which if you lay it flat, the number of folds that it has in such a small space, it can even spread to a complete football field. That is the kind of force that it has, and so much material is packed inside. And the emotional center of the brain is what we call as amygdala. One of the things we will be coming back to as we move forward in our presentation. And we also have thalamus, the gatekeeper of senses. Then we have cerebellum. That is, once you learn some activity, after a certain stage it becomes automatic. For example, riding a bicycle. Initially, when you are learning, you focus, but after that it becomes automatic. So that which is learned here at this level, at the cerebral level, all those automatic skills are pushed into cerebellum. So it becomes very easy for us to take it forward. We need very little effort. Okay, so different lobes and a few of the organs that we will be referring to as we move forward in the presentation. And the most important ones is this part of the brain, what we call as, this is called as cerebellum, and this part of the brain here in the front, we call this as prefrontal cortex. This is the frontal lobe and prefrontal cortex, one that comes here. And this is what makes it cute. Our ability to think abstractly, our ability to think something else while we are sitting here and getting lost in something else, all these are possible. Planning, analyzing, empathizing, all that comes because of this part of the brain, what we call as prefrontal cortex. That's what makes us human. And the primary functional unit of brain is what we call as neuron. And each of our brains contain 100 billion neurons. 100 billion. And these are the main information messenger carriers. Each neuron is capable of connecting to 10,000 other neurons. On a pinhead, you can accommodate 200,000 neurons, pulse synapse. And these neurons pass information through these connections. That is, whenever we learn something new, corresponding to that learning, a bunch of neural circuits are formed inside the brain. That is why initially when you learn, there is effort required. Because that effort is required for the neurons to form their connections. And once the neuron form their connections, the next time you start doing things, it becomes easy. If this is the structure of the brain, before you have learned these things, then after learning, that's how they learn. You see all the extra connections? Each connection, if you consider it as a bit of information, what is the capability of human brain? How many neurons does it have? How many neurons does a human brain have? I just said that. 100 billion neurons. And each neuron can connect with how many more neurons? And that's the kind of capacity each one of us has, provided we know how to use it. 100 billion neurons into 10,000 connections. So don't ever tell yourself or your kids or your colleagues that you are dumb. They are dumb. They have the capacity, it's just that they need to use it. There's a difference between being born dumb and not being able to use the capacity of protection. Okay? And let me show you what happens inside the brain when we learn something new. Okay?
That was really straightforward for a single step on one side of the economy. For us, it's like crossing a deep room. And getting from one side to the other shows us something about the way we learn. For the first time, the signal crosses from one brain cell to the other and marks the first step. And it's the same when we cross our feet. The first step across it is the hardest. And the similar thing happens when we learn something. Just not really learning it. whatever we are. We finally learn something.
So when information first has to pass to the next neuron, it takes effort. But as you keep doing it, as the connection becomes stronger and stronger, it requires less effort for us to do things. That's why initially, whatever we pick up, it's always hard. So we should never get disheartened when you have to put up some effort if you want to learn something, because corresponding to the learning, you are creating the networks inside the brain. And neuroplasticity. Plasticity comes from the Greek word plastikos, means that which can be molded or that which is formed. Brain's ability to change in response to the changes in environment and the activities that we perform is what we call as neuroplasticity. That means we have control over how our brain changes. We can change our brains. So if you closely observe this part, okay, if this is the area corresponding to the auditory center of the brain, if when a musician is learning something new and as he practices it, brain actually changes itself to give more real estate to the skill that you are practicing. Just observe this part, how it expands. Sorry? The more you use or the more you perform certain activity, the area of the brain corresponding to that activity expands. So it starts giving you a lot more real estate. Lot more neuronal real estate is allocated for the activity which you are practicing. And what is neuroplasticity? How does this capability of brain help us in actually being human, even when we are struck with a big tragedy where half the brain needs to be removed? Even when half the brain is removed, how we can still survive and do most of the things like we full-brain people can do? That we will see. Whenever the video clips come, I just hit them to adjust it properly. Please start me. So there's some issue with your man.
We are beginning to harness the brain's incredible ability to invent itself and reinvent itself throughout life. This girl is a testament to the amazing resilience of the human brain. Young Jody of the Hyderabad. You would never guess that she has undergone some of the most drastic surgery imaginable. Jody's first few years were textbook normal. Then, about 6 weeks after her third birthday, a storm of epileptic seizures took control of her brain.
She couldn't use her left arm hardly at all. She could barely use the left leg, seizing a good deal of the time, multiple types of seizures.
Ordinary life became impossible. Medicines did nothing, and seizures threatened to turn fatal. Desperate, Jody's parents brought her to pediatric neurologist Eileen Lang.
In fact, the seizures were all coming from her right hemisphere. And they do get virtually nothing else, nothing but resonance syndrome that can produce a picture of non-living a child.
Rasmussen syndrome is a degenerative brain disorder that disrupts the electrical activity that makes our brains work. Tiny electrical explosions were flaring up in Jody's right hemisphere. The seizures became almost constant. She lost control of her left side. Only one radical treatment option remained.
We knew that she was never going to have her seizures controlled with medicine, and we knew that she and her family faced taking out that active brain.
Dr. Fleming recommended a daring surgery called a hemispherectomy. It would be performed by pediatric neurosurgeon Ben Carson.
The whole concept of taking out half of a person's brain would seem to most people impossible. Human beings are incredible creatures with a brain that is beyond belief in terms of its capabilities. To the point where we can take half of it out and still function in the normal way.
85% of our brain consists of the cerebral cortex, which is divided into two hemispheres, each with 4 main lobes. The cortex handles many of our higher functions. Areas on both sides control thinking, movement, and sensation. The right side controls our left side, and vice versa. Jody would lose almost all of her right hemisphere. The cavity would fill with cerebrospinal fluid. The operation has to be performed with great precision to avoid damaging the parts of the brain that control Jody's life functions, like heartbeat and breathing. The surgery went flawlessly.
What we're looking at here is an image MRI that was done on Jody after her surgery. And what it shows us is the fact that we removed her entire right hemisphere. And what we're able to see here is indeed her very normal left hemisphere and all the beautiful gyri of the cortex. And we can see right down the middle, the right hemisphere that was there is now replaced by fluid.
But how can Jody function normally with only one hemisphere? It's because of the miraculous ability of the brain called plasticity. Our brains can actually change shape, creating new connections between neurons or brain cells to replace lost or damaged ones. Jody's left brain started reconnecting almost immediately.
This young lady had half her brain removed, went home, I guess maybe 10 days later, and was already walking. She was ambling, she was able to walk out of the hospital. And that's because her left hemisphere had such resilience, such plasticity. It was able to say, okay, something needs to move her left leg. Whoa, good on it.
Jody continues to work on training her brain to overcome the slight paralysis in her left side.
But nothing else very good. You need to do that stretching stuff. I mean, you know that, don't you? You don't know about it?
The human brain is just an awesome thing because every time I look at it, I say to myself, this is the thing that makes this person unique. It's still just such a wonderful thing to find a young person whose life now can go on, who's no longer having seizures, who's developing a real passion. I take the good with the bad, and I say, this is a bad thing potentially that we have to do for an extremely good cause.
Half the brain is gone, and then she was able to walk and then start controlling her left side. It's an interesting property of the brain. Right half of the brain controls the left side, and the left half of the brain controls the right side. So when the right part of the brain was removed, she lost movement on the left side. That's why you see the left hand like that. But when she started practicing, the left half of the brain started taking over the actions of the right half of the brain. That's how she was able to walk. This was possible because brain can change itself. And in one point, the doctor was saying, honey, you're supposed to do the exercise. Are you doing it? She asked, okay. Because exercise is the way. The more you act, the more you perform, the more brain circuits rearrange themselves. The more the left half of the brain takes over the right side. That's what we call as plasticity. And it is that property of the brain. It's because of that property she was able to walk again and now lead a normal life. And there's another interesting property of the brain, what we call as self-directed neuroplasticity. That is, we, with the help of our attention and what we focus on, can decide what part of the brain can be changed. And this can be done at any age. Using power of focused attention along with ability to apply commitment, hard work and dedication to direct your choices and actions, thereby rewiring your brain to work for you and with your true self. That's what we call self-directed neuroplasticity. For those kids and students or for anyone in the audience, these are required. There are no shortcuts. You need dedication, you need commitment, and you need to work hard. You don't get things in a jiffy. Because those are the things that are required by our brain if we want to change it and if we want to use it. And that's where you focus your attention on becomes so much more important. If you focus on things that are wasteful, that's where your brain grows. The interesting part about this plasticity is it is action agnostic. In the sense, you perform a good action, it helps you do that. You perform a bad action, it helps you do that too. It's just a property of the brain. That's why initially when you start smoking, it's a little effort. But as you keep doing it becomes so much more easier. Whether it is good or bad, brain cannot make the choice. Only you have the choice to make. Brain simply complies. It simply says, yes, sir. It is a negative stuff you keep repeating, that is what will become easier. Positive stuff you keep repeating, that's what becomes easier. That's the power of our brains. So it's our choice, how I choose to use my brain. And attention training can change which genes get turned on and which genes get turned off. That's how the fascinating discovery. What is it that we focus on? What is it that we practice can actually change what kind of genes are turned on inside the body and what kind of genes are turned off. For example, if you exercise regularly, then brain starts secreting what we call as BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is helpful for the health of neurons, for the growth of neurons, to keep them in good shape. These are causes of the brain, what we saw. And that is why when you do regular exercise, well, if you are lazy and to a certain extent lousy, if you don't know how to exercise, it's your choice. But if you exercise, that's what brain does. And we will see how meditation also changes brain and how it actually helps us improve our capabilities. How positive thinking helps in brain growth and how being cynical, always trying to look at the wrong side of the things, is not good even for your brain. Because neurons die, they don't like that which is negative. Okay? So attention changes your brain. It is more like a spotlight. What is it that you focus on? We prevent distraction in our attention by focusing. And there's a property of the brain called attention density. Repeatedly focusing your attention on something, a thought, a sensation, an event, a response, or an action, over and over, that is what we call as attention density. Again and again you are focusing on that. And the more you sustain your focus of attention on something, the more likely a specific habit will be wired into your brain. Because this brain is an excellent electrical organ. Each action that you do, each skill that you are learning, gives rise to a bunch of neuronal circuits. And the more you practice a certain activity, the stronger those neurons become. And the next time you perform that activity, it becomes so much more easier. Take a simple example. When you are walking on the grass, when there is no power, it requires certain energy. And if the grass is replaced by a muddy path, the amount of energy required is little less. Now, if that path is replaced with a concrete road, the amount of energy required is even less because you will move much faster. That's exactly how brain works. So, with repeatedly focusing your attention on those specific actions, the neuronal circuits corresponding to those actions start forming as what we call as neuronal highways. So, your attention is changing your brain. And again, what is it that you want to focus on? For hours together, you want to watch stupid television and then worry about what's happening in the world. That's how your brain will compile. And then worrying becomes so much more easier. Because those are the circuits that you have created inside your brain. In the brain, attention density is the first and most important step in creating strong and enduring brain connections. Whenever we are learning something new, that is why it becomes so much more important that you focus on what you are learning. Because that's the property brain requires to translate that action, that learning, into corresponding neural circuit. And it is not that we don't have concentration. Most of the students and employees or professionals, they come to us asking, will learning meditation improve concentration? I want to learn meditation. I said, yeah, it will improve concentration. But you already have it. They can't believe it. Let me give you an example. All of us have the ability to focus and concentrate to a large extent. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? Dil Chahta. You pick up your favorite movie. When you are watching your favorite movie for 2.5 hours, when was the last time that you thought about the assignment you are supposed to do next day? Did you remember that? And even during the break, the undivided attention continues. Absolute focus on the movie. Where is that attention coming from? Where is that concentration coming from? It's not lack of concentration, it is lack of love, lack of interest. And that's what today's research is showing, that if you want to learn something, develop that interest first. Because then learning becomes easier. There are no shortcuts as we saw. What are the three qualities you require? Dedication, hard work, and commitment. Because these are the things that will result in your brain being able to focus on a sustained basis. Very important. On a sustained basis, so that learning can be translated into the corresponding neural circuits. Now let me show you a clip on attention.
It can increase the quality of information that we receive through our sensory nerves and help us to function, thinking, and behavior. One of the critical factors that controls the brain is attention. The brain has a way to turn the spotlight on the things that we are for attention. I'm very actively putting over the skill. I remember this because I attended to it. The possibility that enablement as a function of the enablement is not the day. Attention to that is regular. What is about saying? It always takes things that are in the way of that attention. And it's a function of focus. That's why it's so crucial when there's a word focus. Attention to be focused, sharp, really ideal. The result is strong and able to change. Building the other able to change. The private possibility of the brain.
Another way to explain the brain. Any conscious perception is only conscious because we recruited a certain number of neurons to be associated with it. And everybody sign up the same. And so the different factors other than change what we conscious of attention is one of those things that can make contemplative or anything one thing, one way to become conscious. Because you say to yourself, I'm really going to focus on this now, at some point, the activities are always coming up. Of course, not always in control of it, and there's certain things that you're realizing if they're not bad, you don't pay attention to that always, but out of the belief in things, more than you might pay attention to it. After that, something is something.
If you're doing it in God, you're not doing that intensive learning experience that you have to do when you first learn God and you're studying vocabulary or French or Spanish again. That kind of training means that an auditory, delivery mechanism of plasticity in good shape. This is when you want to improve your cardiovascular health. You have to push yourself. You have to really push yourself calmly and pay very, very close attention just to increase your cognitive ability. And these people won't do it. And these are things that you have to breath and go down and do it. But then in the end, they want strange things that's over.
And there's another aspect of switching penalty. When brain switches from one aspect to other aspect, it requires some time to focus on the next one. For example, if you are watching something, okay, you are watching a video, now you have to switch to writing a document. In order to regain that focus on writing the document and getting into it, you need that switch of attention. And that is not possible just in a jiffy. In a second, it is not possible. It takes some time. But if you continuously disturb your brain from switching from one activity to the next, you won't be able to focus on the next activity. For example, every few minutes, if you check your mobile, which some of you must be doing already, you are breaking your attention into pieces. The minute you try to focus on your mobile and bring it back, there is a gap for you to once again pay attention to what is being told or what you are doing before checking that message or that email. With Facebook chats, with WhatsApp messages, with SMSs, with emails, with phone calls, our attention is being chopped off. That is why it requires so much more effort to get something done, even though we have made such big progress technologically. That is why it's very useful that you minimize as many distractions as possible and then focus on a particular activity, not allow anything else to disturb if you want to achieve something meaningful. If I have an important meeting, I switch off my mobile, I tell the receptionist not to connect any calls, switch off my PC, and then be available with the person in front of me. Or be available on the document and focus on writing it. Because more you try to distract yourself, the harder it becomes for you to focus. And that is why it is said when you are driving, you are not supposed to speak on your mobile, because brain cannot do two things at the same time. You might think that you can multitask, but for your own health. Because of this attentional blink, but even while you are focusing on the road, brain is not processing that visual stimulus. Because brain, you are paying attention to what you are speaking, not what you are seeing. And that split second change can be a life and death question. Because that's the property of the brain, that's how our brain operates. It cannot do two things. You might be thinking that I will watch television also, I will read my math assignment also. Don't fool yourself. You can't do it. Nobody can do it. Either you do that or you do this. So that brings us to the next property called neurogenesis. The first one. Every day the brain generates 10,000 stem cells. Okay? And stem cell is something that can change into any kind of cell inside the body. And these stem cells, Each stem cell splits into two. One becomes a daughter stem cell. Okay, that is, it has the capability to regenerate, to give birth to more stem cells. And the second stem cell, it migrates to that part of the brain where it is needed. That is, if you are learning something new, if you are learning music, if you are learning some instrumentation where you have to use your fingers, that part of the brain which processes the stimuli from your fingers, that's where this neuron migrates, because that is where you are using it more. If you recall one of the slides, you saw for a musician how the auditory part of the brain got increased. So that increase happens because these new neurons are actually going there, and that happens automatically. And the only thing that we need to do is focus and continue to do that stuff in a sustained manner. Brain provides the necessary infrastructure to help us learn and grow. Very often, the new cell migrates to the area of new learning. And over the next 4 months, the new cell that forms, it will make 10,000 new connections with other neurons. That is, it becomes like yet another neuron inside the brain, available for you to use. So this is a fascinating discovery, and this keeps happening until our death. So it's incorrect when we say, I am well past my time to ask my daughter to learn new things. You can teach new tricks to old dog, provided the old dog wants to learn. No offense to old people, this is just a problem I'm using. So don't hesitate, don't tell yourself that I am old, I can't pick these things. Yes, if they are physically intensive and you are well past your time, they may be difficult. But there are many cognitive things. You want to learn a new language. You want to learn a new concept. Any point of life you can do that. It may be a little slow, but the capability is there. Again, the choice lies with me. So, it's been an hour since we started, so I'd like to know if you are okay to continue or you would like to take a small break. You can continue? Very good. So what happens when you meditate? When you sit with yourself, when you talk to yourself, what is it that happens inside the brain? We will explore that in this part of the talk. And yes, we will also do a little bit of meditation for us to experience. Okay? I read that. Okay, don't strain. Now read this. Is it easy? What is the difference? Clear that? Do you see that? Very good. What's the difference between this and this? Space. Very simple. That's what meditation is. It's empty space. Giving yourself time for yourself and just not doing anything. Don't just think too much. That is what is meditation. Most people get confused. And that's how meditation provides. What is the difference between this and this? Apart from absence of space, there is not less clarity because you had to insert the space while you were reading to develop that clarity. That is what meditation provides. It doesn't change the text, it doesn't change what you are doing, but it provides more clarity. It helps you understand yourself. That's what meditation is. So English word meditation comes from Latin word called meditare. What it means is to think, to contemplate, to ponder. To stop the engine a little while and then focus on yourself. So meditation, I'll give you a bunch of definitions and you can pick which one you feel is more appropriate for you. Meditation is self-introspection in a... That's important. And it is the ability to talk to oneself with. It's not about sitting there and then kicking yourself, which is what most of the times we do. We are so critical about ourselves. Psychologists say more than 80 to 85% of our self-talk is negative, is disempowering. When was the last time you sat with yourself as if you were a child and talked with yourself with lots of love? It's difficult to recall. So that's what meditation teaches. Don't you deserve your love? Ask yourself. Do I not deserve love? My love to myself? That's what meditation is. Making time for yourself to have a conversation with yourself about yourself. And it's conscious generation of positive, powerful, uplifting and elevating thoughts. Because just like that, if we sit down to think, most of the times the thoughts are negative, waste or negative. But when we consciously focus, go back to what we learned in the past 1 hour. Whatever you focus on, that is what you empower. That is what will make it easy. Initially it will be difficult to generate those positive thoughts, but the more you keep repeating it, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Meditation is also the same. That's why don't get disheartened thinking that when I sit in meditation, my mind goes scatter, all sorts of thoughts come. Yes, they do come. There's nothing wrong with it. You are absolutely normal. Keep doing it so that you can take charge of your thoughts. And meditation is attention training. Train your brain to be able to focus so that you don't get distracted so easily. Detached observation trains the brain and changes the brain in a very, very favorable, wholesome way. That is, when you are trying to observe yourself, if you can just observe and not judge, just observe. That mere observation itself changes the brain. For example, assume that you are the director, your thoughts are actors on stage. Your thoughts are actors on stage and you are the director. Okay? If you are able to observe your thoughts without indulging in them, a thought comes onto the stage, it goes off. Some thoughts come, they linger a little longer and then they go away. Some thoughts come, they dance a little while, they go away. Some thoughts come, they cry and then they go away. If you can detach yourself and then say, this is just a thought and don't indulge in it, you start empowering your brain. It's fascinating how brain works. Just the detached observation about yourself empowers you. As soon as a thought comes, you say, I am different. This is a thought that I am generating. Just try it for a second. Just close your eyes. Whatever thought comes, say that this is just a thought that is generated. This is not me. See the difference. It goes somewhere, that's fine. You are saying the brain is going somewhere. You are not getting lost, you are still in control. And you see how powerful it becomes. It becomes so much more easier to bring it back and focus. So that's how detached observation trains the brain. And in meditation, this is what we do most of the time. We sit there and try to detach ourselves. And meditation is practice of soul consciousness. Here in Raja Yoga, we believe that I am a soul and this is my body. That's the difference. I, the doer, I, the experiencer, is separate from this body through which I am experiencing this world. I am in charge of this body, in charge of this body. So when I know that, when I become aware of it, it becomes more easy for me to control my thoughts because I am generating those. I am not a puppet in the hands of my mind. In Raj Yoga we learn a very simple principle: Man mera hai, main man nahi. Is there a difference? Man mera hai, and that which is mine means what? When do I say something is mine? Very good. Excellent. I can say this is mine when I can control. That means just reminding myself that this is my mind gives me the power to control it. Rather than saying I can't control my mind. No, you are not your mind. You are subject. You can control your mind. Man mera hai. And when you start meditating, physically there are changes that happen inside the brain. If you recall, we saw some of the lobes. This is what we call as the frontal lobe. Okay, this part of the brain, what we said. So when you are meditating, I'll read this for you. This is the most highly evolved part of the brain, responsible for reasoning, planning, emotions, and self-conscious awareness. During meditation, the frontal cortex tends to go offline. That is, when I sit and meditate, when I start focusing, my ability to generate waste thoughts goes down. My mind wandering comes down. Because I am not generating those thoughts here. Because the frontal lobe tends to go offline. And this is the parietal lobe. This part of brain processes sensory information about surrounding areas or the world around you. During meditation, activity in the parietal lobe slows down. Now, what is focus? What is attention? What is concentration?
No distraction.
Very good. No distraction means what? In terms of the brain that we are discussing.
Focus.
When I don't process the signals that are coming from outside that are irrelevant to me, I call that as concentration. Sound is there, but I am not processing it. Somebody has just passed, but I am not moving it. Okay? So I am not processing. Meditation helps the brain to do that by reducing the activity in this parietal lobe. The sensory information that the brain is getting bombarded, it reduces to a trickle. And whatever is information that is coming from the surrounding, that processing comes down during that period. And that's what helps you to improve your focus. And reticular formation, this is like a brain centric. Okay? It keeps scanning at anything that is not right in the environment, it alerts you. And the activity inside the brain, when you are meditating, it actually goes down. Why? That means it helps you to reduce your anxiety. Because each time you respond, what is anxiety? What is anxiety? Yes. Continuously you are thinking something and responding to it. You are thinking that something wrong is going to happen to you. But when you start meditating in a safe space, when you know that you are safe, brain actually helps you to become less anxious. That's why if you have high blood pressure or you are a heart patient, you are really anxious, doctors suggest in addition to medication, also meditate. You know what they say that? This is it. Because this is how meditation changes what happens inside the brain so that we can get the benefits that we get. So there is no rocket science here. It is not, when we talk about meditation, it's not religion. Meditation is not some blind faith. There's proper science behind it. It's a simple activity of you being able to observe yourself, talk to yourself with love, consciously generate those positive and empowering thoughts. That's it. And within the brain, we have what we call as triune brain. It has three parts. It's interesting. This top portion of the brain, okay, is what we call as thinking brain. what makes us human. Just below the thinking brain, amygdala, the emotional center, is what we call as the emotional brain. You see that? This part of the brain, here. And this part of the brain, the medulla oblongata and spinal cord here, we call that as the reptilian brain. Because this part of the brain controls all your autonomic activities, which run automatically. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your blood pressure, all that stuff. And our emotions are controlled by this emotional brain. And thinking is controlled by this thinking brain. And what scientists have observed is the number of connections from the emotional brain to thinking brain far outnumber the number of connections from thinking brain to emotional brain. Very interesting. That's why, how much time does it take for you to get angry, and how much time does it take to become calm again? Is there a difference? And when you are angry, are you able to think clearly? When you are emotional, when you are upset, are you able to make appropriate decisions? Are you able to focus? Because when emotional brain takes over, it starts governing the thinking brain. Okay? But don't get disheartened. Don't get disheartened. Now don't go back and tell somebody or tell yourself, yeah, Bala said this. If I get emotional, I can't think. That's how my brain is wired. Come on, what do I do? So I'm going to tell you something more, which is equally unique to Ishista. Positive self-talk, which in other words we call it as meditation, helps you to strengthen your thinking brain. It helps you, using the properties of neurogenesis and neuroplasticity, you can rewire the brain. You can make your thinking brain stronger so that you don't unnecessarily get emotional. But you have to work through it. That's why I look at there is no shortcut. If that's what you thought before coming here, there is no shortcut. We have to work and then get the results that we want. But the beauty is, if we work, the results are sure. Because that's how the brain is wired, that's how the brain is. And some of the benefits of meditation, it helps you gain emotional self-control, and you saw how that happens. When you start strengthening your thinking brain, automatically you can start taking control of your emotional brain. It's not that emotions disappear, but you are in a better position to control them. It primes your brain towards love, compassion, and forgiveness. So the more you meditate, these are the qualities that start developing. And it increases your lifespan by increasing your biological age. Interestingly, we have 3 kinds of age. Chronological age, you subtract your birth date from today's date, that's chronological age. Second is psychological age. That is how young or old you think you are. You may be 16 or 20 and you might already be thinking I'm already 50. You may be 60 and still thinking at heart young and that you are 16. That's your psychological age. And the third is biological age. If you consider this body as a machine, how long can this machine run? How long can each of the cells inside the body live? How long can these organs live? If there is no disturbance, if there is no pollution in the environment around, if there is no pollution in what we eat, if there is no pollution in what we think, then this human body is capable of living up to 150 years. That's the biological age. All these other things interfere and reduce our lifespan. They reduce the ability of this machine to run because it gets busted and sometimes gets dusted from itself. And meditation helps you to keep those cells younger. And it does that by reducing what we call as free radicals inside the body. Any activity that we do generates its corresponding byproducts because this human body is also a wonderful chemical factory. What you eat is also chemical side. It's not fertilizers, but it is chemical. Finally, it gets translated and it generates some byproducts in the form of free radicals. And it has been found meditation helps you reduce those free radicals. And those free radicals are like bullets that put holes inside the cells. So when they reduce, the ability of the cells to thrive and survive, that increases. And that's how meditation helps increasing your biological age. And it slows down age-related cognitive decline. Cognition means thinking. Our ability to think clearly, that slows down. That means if the deterioration is faster, that deterioration gets slowed down through meditation. That's what it means. And it helps you to be in the. It's interesting. More than 90% of the time, either we are thinking about the past or we are worried about the future. Some of you even sitting here must be thinking after 7:30 or after 8 o'clock, what should I be doing? Even though you know for next couple of hours, you cannot go home, you cannot do that. This time is meant for listening to this talk here and now. But still the mind keeps going. But through meditation, through constant practice, again, this doesn't happen in a day or two. Let me be very honest. It takes time. Okay? It makes you be in the now and feel more contented and happy. We take a short break now and then we come back fresh. Then we will sit and do meditation. Is that okay?
She was also IT professional. She was a software engineer. She was working in telecommunications. Currently, now she has left the job and she is completely dedicated to her own life. So, I request Sister Abula to take journey for the
We already learned about the benefits of meditation. We must be eager to know how to meditate, right? Most of you must be eager to know how to meditate. So now for just 5 to 7 minutes, we will go through the journey of meditation. So everyone is ready? Yes. I will just request everyone to sit straight and relaxed. Do not cross your legs or hands. If you have anything, you can just put it aside. So that you will be able to concentrate. We will start with the relaxation. Make sure your back is straight so that you don't get to sleep. So now, please relax all over your body. Just feel the presence of muscles in your both the legs. And gradually relax each and every muscle of your legs. Slowly moving about. Feel the muscles of your back, stomach, and relax them. Still moving about, feel the muscles in your shoulders and both the hands, and relax every muscle. Relax the muscles of your neck and the face, full body, your legs till your forehead are relaxed. And now, for a while, we focus our attention on our breathing. Take deep breathing and slowly breathe out. Now, as you breathe in, fill yourself with the positive energy of peace. And as you breathe out, spread these vibrations of peace into your surroundings. And whole atmosphere is filled with that positive energy. From the west, negative thoughts are no more. Just feel with yourself. Focus your attention on my thoughts. Try to observe each and every thought that is coming to your mind. No need to stop them. Just keep on observing every thought. And you will feel as you start observing them, the speed of thoughts decreases. You are feeling very calm and peaceful. Now let's focus all our attention in the center of our forehead, and let's visualize a shining point of light sparkling beautifully in the center. Just visualize that, how beautiful that sparkling light is. I am the being of peace. I am the true being of peace. There is a lot of peace in that point of light. And that light is my true identity. As we go deeper and deeper within that light, we start experiencing vibrations of peace. And slowly those vibrations are emerging out from that point of light and spreading into your body. Just observe and visualize the vibrations of peace are spread in each and every neuron of our brain and slowly moving down. These vibrations are reaching to each and every cell of your physical body. Every single cell of your body is receiving these vibrations of peace. Making your body and every organ of your body very peaceful. As we go deeper within that point of light, we observe the vibrations of love. I am the being of love. Love is my original nature. It's my true identity. As I go deeper, the vibrations of love are emerging out from that point, spreading into the body, still spreading far. We are reaching to each and every individual present in our surroundings. Everyone is receiving the vibrations of selfless, unconditional, and true love from you. And with that energy, every single soul is developing these little vibrations of love. And those vibrations of love from all of us are spreading into our society, making it peaceful and lovable. As we go still deeper, moving that point of light, we find a great treasure of purity. Just unlock the treasure of purity, and as soon as we do that, the vibrations of purity filling the soul, and these vibrations are clearing out any trace of negativity, sorrow, stress from the inner being, cleansing the soul. As we experience this purity more and more, we are feeling very light. The inner being and the physical body both are completely light. the vibrations of purity have spread in every single cell of your physical body and purifying it. And very light and filled with the positive energy. Just focus back at that point of light and say to yourself, I am the peaceful being of purity. Om Shanti.
How was the experience? Good? Very bothered by the sound? You saw that, you experienced. When you focus, only then you will hear like glory. But when you were immersed in what sister was saying, there was sound. We didn't stop the kids, they didn't stop shouting, but you never registered. That's the thing. Right. And how can mind change your brain? We'll explore that in the next half an hour, 40 minutes. And how can we utilize this properly? Meditation is also about controlling thoughts, what we just saw at the beginning of direction. Yes.
Question. During meditation, you try to reduce the number of thoughts, and in the process, try to detach from the thoughts. That's why your mind is understanding. Why is that? We are asked to keep our eyes open because eyes being one of the sensitive organs, it also receives a lot of stimuli from the environment.
Yes.
So it seems to be contradictory. My mind cannot accept that. So,
good question. The question is, why are we asked in Rajyoga meditation to keep the eyes open? When a lot of stimulus goes through the eyes, and a lot of good portion of brain is allocated to process visual stimuli. The answer is twofold. One, the idea of Raj Yoga in the way of life is to be able to be in that controlled state even whilst you are working. So when you keep your eyes open, it helps you to be in that state naturally. Whenever you want to get into meditative state, you don't necessarily have to close your eyes. You can simply divert your thoughts, and that's how you need to practice. What you need is to be able to focus on just one particular point or one particular area. Just to rest your eyes, not even focus. And the second thing about visual stimulus is, even though a lot of stimulus gets into the eyes, it's very easy to divert the attention if you can control your mind. Right? We experience that even in class, even in school. Even now, some of you must be experiencing. You are seeing, yet you are not seeing because your thoughts are in this way. So, when the mind gets diverted, brain automatically reduces the processing of visual stimulus, even when it is open. It receives, but it doesn't come to what we call as conscious awareness. And the idea is, even whilst you are working, even whilst you are leading your regular life, you should be able to be in that meditative state. It takes some time, but it's possible. If we look at the advanced meditative service organization, that's the reason you are encouraged to keep your eyes open. And sometimes what happens when you close your eyes, the chances of a lot more pictures coming in increases. For most of us.
Yeah.
And lots of abstract pictures start bouncing back and forth. But in this case, when you just rest your eyes on one point, there's only one stimulus that is going, and when you can divert your mind, it becomes easy. Because there's only one kind of stimulus that is coming in. And it doesn't change. When you rest your eyes on something, it doesn't change. That's why you are encouraged to keep your eyes open.
But there is no extra benefit to the disease. There's no extra benefit, you know. It's a convenience issue.
Absolutely. So this is a property that we can use. Property of the brain, visualization. Visualize means create a picture in the mind. That's what visualize means. That's where the word visualization comes. And the unique property of the brain, it's very interesting. Brain cannot distinguish between imagining something and doing it. You know that? When you imagine something, suppose let me give you an example. If I move my hand, there are motor neurons inside the brain that are making my hand move. They are firing inside the brain and that's why I'm able to move my hand. Keeping my hand like this, if I can visualize that my right hand is moving, exactly same neurons will fire. Yeah. When I start describing one of the sweetest mangoes, as you get into the experience, does your mouth water or not? When you recall an experience, just by recalling, even if it is a sad experience or good experience, do you relive it or not? It is because of this problem. Brain cannot distinguish between imagining something and actually doing it. And that's the property we will use. And how we can harness that to develop our skills, we will see that. And this process, visualization, establishes neural pathways inside the brain which act as a blueprint to be followed during the actual performance. That's the big. Because brain cannot distinguish between imagining something and doing it, the same neural pathways get created even when you visualize doing something, even without actually doing it. For example, if you want to improve your public speaking capability, if you want to address a bunch of people and you're scared, psychologists consider public speaking as the second biggest figure after that. It's true for most of us. But if you want to overcome that, the way you can harness this property of the brain is you sit down calmly, visualize this group, visualize this talk. This is where you have to give a talk. Keep repeating that as if you are giving the talk confidently. Keep imagining that. Keep feeling it. So corresponding to the talk, corresponding to that experience, neural pathways get created and your brain becomes familiar with the environment, with the hall, with the people. And once you become familiar, the ability of that situation to scare you comes down drastically. So once you have visualized it a number of times, when you actually come and do it, it becomes a lot easier than doing it without visualizing. The reason is this property. And I will show you a small clip about how this visualization is used in sports. This as a technique is used in almost all disciplines nowadays. Even surgeons are trained on simulations. Even surgeons are encouraged to first visualize the steps before they actually perform. Even sportsmen are trained on visualization. And what we just did, a few minutes of meditation, was also using this property of the brain.
Give up driving a car or starting to walk as a child, and starting to discover another rather surprising way in which we master new skills. Look the hell out of him, took up gymnastics when she was just 7 years old. 2002 Commonwealth Games. It involves sliding on the high bar, performing a back somersault and a half twist before recatching the bar.
Basically, you'll watch the video first and get a general idea of what video we do and what you want it to look like. And then start progression to do it, have feedback from your coach, and they'll tell you what to do, what not to do, where you go right and wrong.
Next coach is Colin Still.
Release the arms down,
He begins by introducing her mind to the move.
DJing the arm all the way through. When we teach a move to people like energy gymnasts, they must concentrate at the beginning. They know nothing, and we have to fill their mind with the idea of what we're trying to get across, and then we look at their body to follow their mind.
It's time for her to try to be excited for real.
So it's not the same thing.
The same kind of anyway, you have to really concentrate on what you do. So this is then what you go. You do get to it and you start to think about things that could go wrong.
If you're trying to do something new, it's useful if you can practice that a few times mentally, visualize it before you actually do that, so that when you actually do it, it becomes a little easier. Any skill, any technique, you can use this particular characteristic of the brain. I'm going to show you another clip where just sitting and imagining can change the structure of the brain, of course in a focused manner. I'll show you another experiment that has been done.
Whenever he does something, he radiates. There's a series of places. Just when you start with the people don't tell you that you have a sense of what it feels like. I've done this enough that I have a sense of what your water vortex is going to be. TMS stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. It is a way to stimulate the black currents to specific parts of the brain, but without having coupled in the skin, coupled in the bone. And I don't really like that device. That's sort of more your little picture. And one of the things that
So what we're seeing there is the machine called transcranial magnetic stimulation. What it does is, brain is actually a wonderful electrical organ. So whatever thoughts we are making, whatever actions we are making, they whiz past inside the brain as a bunch of electrical signals. So by using this machine, the scientist Pascal Leon, his name, he is trying to either switch on or switch off, interfere with the brain's functioning. So he is artificially generating that magnetic field, those electrical signals inside, so that they interfere with brain's functioning. So you will actually see that even when the subject wants to speak, he won't be able to speak because the speech processing area is being interfered with this external stimulus. You will see that. It's called transcranial magnetic stimulation.
even from TMS is that we can use it to map the brain, we can use it to understand how brain activity relates to behavior. We can also use it to modify the brain. We can use it depending on the parameters of stimulation to actually increase activity in a part of the brain or to suppress activity in a part of the brain. So I guess when we talk about language area, that we don't feel what it is like when people are trying to speak and can't because of the stroking of the area. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so starting that page. One of the things that we get interested in is the question of how do the maps change when you simply think of things. When you don't do anything other than thinking. We took normal subjects and we set them in front of a piano and asked them to learn to do a 5-finger movement exercise. They just had to go from thumb to little finger, back to thumb, back to little finger, at a given rate. And we found that over these 5 days of practice, the part of the brain that controls the directions got larger and larger and larger. So we had another group of subjects who simply sat in front of the piano and imagined themselves moving. And we made sure that they did not move, but simply mentally rehearsed the actions. What we found in them is that the brain changed in exactly the same way as in those that actually physically practice. So the idea is that just thinking will change your brain. And what that ultimately means is that what if we can what one thinks? This beautiful experiment complements the work of Nobel Prize winning psychiatrist Vera Kendall,
we showed that thinking actually turns on genes inside neurons to form new connections between brain cells. And the study is further complemented by brain scans which show that psychoanalytic, cognitive, and other psychotherapies also change the brain structure through the use of thought alone.
I think we know that in fact, the brain is changing all the time. And so the challenge is to learn about it so that you can guide the changes.
We saw that how they took two groups of volunteers. One group of volunteers was asked to play the piano. And they tried to check that portion of the brain which processes stimulus from these fingers. And they saw that just with few days of practice, that area of the brain has actually increased. And then they took second set of volunteers and they said, just sit there, but just imagine that you are moving your fingers. You should not touch the piano. You just imagine that you are moving the fingers in the same sequence for the same amount of time. And they saw similar changes at the same places inside your brain. And the next one that you saw is for patients who are depressed. Okay, when they try to do psychotherapy, that is talk therapy, by speaking with them, by counseling, they observed that by just speaking to them, they saw the changes inside the brain. And that's why the scientists were saying, be careful what you think. Because even your thinking is changing your brain. That's why I said, if you are habituated to being cynical, if you are habituated to always look at the wrong side of things, always look at negative. It's interesting that the brain's neurons atrophy, that means they actually die. Cynicism actually kills neurons. And some of the brain fitness techniques that we can use to keep our brain in good shape. Positive thoughts and meditation strengthen brain. Very important. As I said a few minutes ago, exercise releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which actually helps in strengthening the neurons. And it has been found that exercise also helps in strengthening what we call as myelin. Myelin is the sheet that covers the neuron. Okay, the cover around the neuron is what we call as myelin. And it strengthens that myelin. And once you have that myelin as strong, the speed of the impulse or the current that passes through the neuron actually increases. It moves much faster. So exercise actually helps you to keep your brain in good health. Especially aerobic exercise. Very important. Eat good, nutritious food and sleep regularly. Very simple exercise that they have done by depriving subjects for just 2 or 3 days of sleep. They saw a drastic decline in their capability to solve problems or to remember things. Lack of sleep has huge impact, and that's one of the major problems in today's world, unfortunately. We don't seem to be getting enough sleep. And when you stimulate yourself before you sleep, it impacts the quality of your sleep. What is the stimulation? At least 2 hours before you sleep, you should not take tea or coffee. Eat at least 2 hours before you sleep. Switch off all electronic gadgets 2 hours before you sleep. Don't watch television. You might be thinking, why is Bala against television? Because for no reason, There is a reason why it's called an idiot box. Because it makes a fool of us. It turns us into an idiot. And it is also helpful if you want to read from a book, not from something electronic, before you sleep. Because any of that stimulation postpones your sleep. And make sure that you switch off all the lights when you sleep. All the lights as dark as possible. So that it's easier for you to get into the sleep. Very simple sleep hygiene things, which will go a long way in improving our quality. Because if we don't get enough sleep, now it is known through experimentation and research, it can lead to a whole bunch of diseases. Not just cognitive decline, not just memory loss, not just your ability to think clearly. It can even lead to diabetes, it can even lead to heart problems. It can even lead to obesity. Prolonged periods of sleep deprivation. And yes, eating nutritious food is very important, a balanced diet. Pizza is not a balanced diet. Okay? And eating loads of ice cream is not a balanced diet. And eating irregularly is not a balanced diet. Fresh fruits, legumes, vegetables, wheat, rice, good stuff. We have everything, it's just that we need to make the choice, we need to make that little bit of effort. And the nutritious food goes a long way in helping you have a good brain. What you do with that is up to you as a kid, but at least it helps you to have a healthy brain. Engaging in meaningful and productive work, which actually makes you feel good about yourself, is good for your brain too. If you keep cursing every single day what you're doing, it's high time that you think about changing. Either you love it or leave it. Don't continue with it. Because that's not good for your brain. Read empowering literature. That which will help you to grow, to learn, and then make yourself capable that yes, I can face the world. Yes, I can face the big bad world. I have the ability. Read that empowering literature. It's useful because it helps your brain to grow. Learn new skills. There is no such period in life where we cannot learn new things. Music, painting, learning to solve different sort of puzzles, learning a new language. And these are the ways in which we can keep our brain fit. You were watching one of the videos where he was saying, if you keep repeating the same moves that you have done, which you already know, that is not stretching your brain. That's not exercising your brain. But when you learn something new, when you learn a difficult move, when you work a little harder, that's your internal exercise. That's how it stretches the brain and keeps it fit. The way we need to exercise to keep the body fit, similarly that is brain's exercise. Learning something that is just a little beyond your capability, so that you can stretch yourself a little bit. Whether it is in terms of language, whether it is in terms of dance, whether it is in terms of skill, it can be anything. It can even be a simple thing like learning to swim. Something neat. Neurobics. Interesting set of exercises. Neurobics, like aerobics, we also have neurobics. What it means is, most of us write with right hand. Once in a while, practice writing with left hand. You know how to wade through your house. Correct? Most of the times we see it. It's the visual stimulus. Once in a while, just close your eyes, feel things, and then try to navigate. Try to utilize all the other senses, alternatively doing different things that you haven't done before. That's what we call as neurons. If you are interested, I will send some of those exercises which you can try out.
Walking backward also part.
Absolutely. Walking backward. Many such exercises where you can try to exercise those parts of the brain which are usually not exercised. Or even brushing with your left hand. Trying to brush with your left hand. Trying to eat with your left hand. Trying to do something which you usually don't. That's what exercises that part of the brain's neurons. There is a reason why laughing is called as internal joy. Now don't be miserly. It's okay to be serious once in a while, but you can always smile. Yeah? So develop a good sense of humor. And that does not mean you will go and watch comedy nights with couple at 11 p.m. If you want to watch, buy DVD, watch a couple of hours before, not at 11 p.m. Some of the books, if anyone of you is interested in learning a little more about this fascinating area, Brain That Changes Itself by Magarpatta. He talks about neuroplasticity in detail. Train your brain, train your mind, change your brain. The title of this talk. This is where I pick it up from. This is by Sharon Begley. She talks a lot about the research that has gone into establishing this fact, how thoughts influence brain. She very well documents for a lay reader what all science is behind, what all research has gone behind this, and how God changes your brain. Interesting book that I read a couple of years ago. I had reviewed it. How faith, religion, and spirituality, they actually change the brain physically. How that happens, he documents it through a lot of research that he cites in this book. Another interesting book I did in sequel called Mindsight. Mindsight is nothing but your ability to detach yourself and observe yourself. And how that helps in becoming stronger cognitively and emotionally. Brain Law, Jeffrey Schwartz, the researcher, has written this interesting book called Brain Law, where it deals with something called OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. Some people suffer through that, and now it is known it happens because of faulty working inside the brain. Brain also has worry circuit, where you worry about something. If that worry circuit misfires, you keep worrying about it. It just goes on and on. That is one of the qualities of OCD patients. They will lock the door, they'll come to the parking lot, and they are worried I did not lock the door. So they'll go back to check again. They'll wash the hands. After a few minutes, they will say, no, I did not wash my hands. I have germs, I should go wash again. So they keep repeating these kind of things again and again because that worry circuit is firing. And then he has done very fascinating research where through psychotherapy, by just talking, by just teaching them, it is a misfiring brain, it is not them. That is making them do this. Through that therapy, he is able to make the patients come out of this debilitating condition. Very fascinating work that he has documented in this book called Brain Law. And David Locke is a trainer who came up with this, who popularized this concept of neuro-leadership. That is how, by understanding how our brain works, we can become better managers. We can make our team members work better. How by understanding that, by changing my leadership style, I can improve the productivity and effectiveness of myself and my team. That's what he tries to document in this book called Your Brain at Work. And if any one of you is passing by Hyderabad and you are in Hyderabad on August 8th, which is the second Saturday, you let up to know because that's where we will be dealing as a part of SIT retreat in Hyderabad, spirituality in IT retreat in Hyderabad, something similar. We are going to do that on the Saturday, and I will be dealing with this concept called brain science for managers. So what aspects of brain are helpful in making us good managers? If you're passing by Hyderabad, you must start. There are local meditation centers if you are interested in carrying forward your meditation experience. Here both at Magarpatta and Magarpatta. And if you live in some other part of Pune, make note of these numbers, call them, and they'll give you the address of the other meditation centers. And if you have something to share or ask, that's my email ID. You can drop me an email. BK Bala Kishore @gmail.com. That's all I have today. Thank you very much. We are going to distribute feedback forms. So just stay back for a few minutes. And then we are going to take a few more minutes of your time where we are going to introduce you to what Brahma sees, the organizers of this group. Just take 5 more minutes.
So the branches of Brahma Kumaris are spread in 137 countries in all 7 continents, and we have more than 9,000 centers that are spread all over the world, which helps people to for their future empowerment. Also, Brahma Kumaris is affiliated to the Department of Public Information of United Nations, which is a non-governmental organization. Along with that, it also has consultative status with ICOSO and UNICEF. So, what do you know about Brahma Kumaris? You see, any institution in the world which is formed by some of the human beings, there are some gurus, some masters who are teaching their knowledge. But in Brahma Kumaris, the unique thing is there is no human guru here. We have some instruments for working to spread the message, but this organization is founded by the incorporeal Godfather, whom we call as Supreme Soul, and that Supreme Soul, all the instruments is doing this service. That is the very unique thing about the Brahma Kumaris. In Brahma Kumaris, as we see in the objectives, it helps people for spiritual empowerment. So how do we do that? The tool for the spiritual empowerment is the Rajyoga meditation, which we just practice for a few minutes. So, Rajyoga meditation is basically a journey within. As we practice what we did, we do not focus on any outside object like candle or pencil, or a begin. And what we did, we just went inside us, we focused on our thoughts, what we are thinking, and we focused on our inner qualities. So that is Rajyoga. To go in yourself and to just glorify the inner beauty and true beauty. That is the Rajyoga meditation that we teach here. And along with that, in the Brahma Kumaris local centers, we offer various courses like positive thinking, life management, self-management, stress-free living, and there are various topics that are being taught in the Brahma Kumaris local centers, and each and every course in the Brahma Kumaris is offered for free of cost. And we perform various activities for free of the order. The very first activity is inspiring leaders, because leaders are the God of power to change the nation, right? So if we have leaders aware of spirituality, we can bring the transformation into the world what we want. So here are a few names of all the leaders who are in contact with the Brahma Kumaris. Along with that, we work on interfaith cooperation. What we mean by that? We bring together the people from all the faiths, all the cultures, and all the backgrounds, and we believe that after getting them together and developing deeper consciousness, the deeper understanding of one another, right, or developing deeper respect for one another, we can develop a world, we can develop a culture which is full of peace and non-violence. That is why you can see the names of that. There is some hope. And some of the regions in the world, we can see people, the representatives from all the regions. In Mount Abu, we have such conferences where people from all the regions gather together and they share their common vision about life transformation. And all of the Brahma Kumaris is not just associated with meditation, but it is involved in a lot of other community services. For example, during tsunami or during earthquakes, it also helps people for all their basic needs. And also that very important thing, in Mount Abu, we have a global hospital research center, GHRC, which is helping people to get rid of the diseases with medicine as well as meditation. So we have a CAT program there for coronary artery diseases. So we have a very wonderful results. The people with 80 to 90% blockages without surgery, just by practicing positive lifestyle, exercise, proper diet, and very important meditation, all the 80 to 90% blockages get cleared. And this is a very good result in the CAT programs. It's a various program, not just heart disease, but diabetes and such many diseases are getting cured in that hospital. And also specialty. That hospital serves free of cost for all the needy people and all for the saints, Mahatmas. So it serves it free of cost. That is a very big specialty of this hospital. And the Brahma Kumaris is recognized internationally and it has been awarded various prizes. So Brahma Kumaris has given 5 National Peace Awards, and also one award is International Peace Messenger Award, which was given for the project The Indian Mix of Peace, which was conducted. So in the role you can see the former administrative head of Brahma Kumaris receiving International Peace Messenger Award at United Nations. got a doctorate in literature for a deeper study in spirituality. So, we saw people from various backgrounds. Actually, we are a group of IT people. So, because the people from the same field, they have similar mindsets, right? And if they get someone from their own field who is working in meditation, so they can get clear idea of what you want to do, right? So, for example, today we have Bala Kishore, who is also IT people. So, in Lumbu, we also serve people from all the different backgrounds. We have 19 wings. So, you can see the list. One of the wing is IT wing, which is organized this program. So all these wings programs in Mount Abu headquarters, every year we have conferences for each of these wings. The people gather there and they get this knowledge in their own way. So doctors will get this knowledge in their own way, engineers will get it their own way. And the age, the message from the government, if we see outside, people are more concerned about others rather than self. But we have a principle, when we change, the world changes. So world transformation through self-transformation is our main vision. So this is Hyderabad, which I led, and right side is Adija, who is currently administrative head of the Magarpatta. And how meditation impacts her head. She is the best example. Do you know her age today?
Yes.
She is 98 years old today, and if you see her today, she is so energetic. She can come on stage, she can deliver lectures and everything. And she practices meditation daily without missing a single day. That is how the meditation impacts your body in a very positive way. This is the lesson we want to get on detail. Thank you.
We are ready for services to one-on-one from last 2 years. So I am requesting Mr. Sharma to come forward.